Update 44 in Bloons TD6 is finally out, and I could not be more excited about this update because, guys, finally after over a year, it's actually closer to a year and a half, we're finally getting a new tower in BTD6, and that is the Mermonkey. Now, this is a special tower because I think the community has been requesting a tower like this for a very long time, so I don't think that this is like a Ninja Kiwi original, but I think it's kind of a mix between something that the community wanted for a very long time and then Ninja Kiwi just making it happen. So the new Mermonkey Tower is a magic monkey, and this is an amphibious tower, so it's going to be a water creature, but also you can place it in land if you wanted to. It has an ice jet ability and then a balloon hypnotizing melody, so we're gonna check out all these things. There's also a new intermediate path called Luminous Cove, which is the favorite chill spot of the Mermonkeys, and then there's a new Psy skin called Dream State Psy. And before we move on with the Mermonkey, I want to remind you guys to use code EathandRead in the Bloons store. It really helps to keep the channel going. And this is it. This is the new map called Luminous Cove. This is a Mermonkey special, and if you click here, I guess these leaves kind of move back, and there's, I swear to God, there has to be a secret on this map, but we're gonna figure that one out later. So first off, the Mermonkey. Look at this thing. So it's 650. We're playing on hard mode, by the way, so the prices are a little bit higher than usual. And so if you take a look at this thing, if you have the tower on land, the range is like, you guys can see how big the range is, but if I move it in water, look at this thing, the range increases. So you want to have the Mermonkey in water. The way that this thing works is, by the way, it is a it looks like it's a ranged attack by shooting tridents, and so these tridents appears through. It's a very interesting, guys. I took a look at these descriptions, by the way. I'm going in kind of blind because I took a look at the descriptions, and so let's just kind of see what's going on with this tower. So first off, I can see that it does 2 damage, so that's really interesting. So it's a tower that has a $650 base cost. It does 2 damage, and it seems to have 1 pierce. I'm not sure if there's any monkey knowledge specifically for the Mermonkey yet. We might be able to see it. Let's start with the first one. So this is called Trident Efficiency. The acclimation to local water density allows the Mermonkey to attack faster with all attacks. Okay, so this is like I don't know, like the Ninja Discipline upgrade, I guess, which just gives attack speed to the ninja, right? So let's buy this thing, and let's see how much of an attack speed difference it makes. Yeah, it definitely does a little bit of extra attack speed. Okay, so is the top cross speed gonna be the attack speed one, like where you actually make it like an attack damage kind of thingy? Let's see the next one. It's called Trident Swiftness. So the tridents are thrown faster and travel further. Okay, so we have even more attack speed. So let me just buy this thing. It's 325. So let me just buy this thing. And you know what? The more that I look at this tower, the more it reminds me of a ninja, because it's just more attack speed. It goes through more balloons. It gets this trident. It flies a lot further. But I read this one. It's called the Echo Sense Precision. And so the Mermonkey can detect cow balloons, and the tridents seek their target. So this is, guys, this is like a 201 ninja that I'm looking at currently. So let me just buy this thing. Let's give it it even has camo detection. It's like, it's the exact same thing. Okay, so we're gonna have some faster balloons. So let's see the tridents go in action. Yeah, there we go. So these guys are like the wizard attack now. So the seeking is not that strong, but it's kind of nice. It's not ninja type of seeking. It's good enough so that it just deals with all these guys. But you know what? I kind of took a look at all these upgrades, and guys, this is very interesting. So there's a little bit of balloon chipper action actually going with this tower, and we have a lot of things to go through. So let me just kind of speed it up. Let's take a look at this one. This one is called the Abyss Dweller. The abyssal creature awakens, angrily lashing out at balloons. Oh my god, with powerful tentacles and granting nearby monkeys a small pierce increase. Okay, I don't know. It's like, let me just summon this thing. Where does it? So I thought it was gonna summon a creature around it in its area, but it looks like the creature is beneath the Mermonkey. Okay, so this tentacle, it's like it gets in an extra attack, I think. And so when the balloons come near the tentacles, they also get popped, but at the same time, this guy is attacking with the tridents. Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, so far we've spent a decent amount of money onto this tower, so it's round 15 incoming. So let's see if we're gonna be able to defend the entire round. I feel like we should be, because we spent like $4,000 in total, closer to $4,000. So this should defend round 15. I really can't tell how much damage these tentacles are doing. Maybe if we can get to see it, I think it does at least 2 damage. But it's kind of nice because you have 2 damage sources right there. And it also seems to give some. It says a small pierce increase, and if I had to guess, this is like 1 pierce probably, right? Okay, so the Mermonkey is a magic type of tower, but can it pump purples? So let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, wait, what's popping? So something is popping them. I'm not sure if it's the tridents or the tentacles. I mean, maybe we should place one more and see. I think it was both of them actually. I think this is like a magic tower that straight up pops purples, because I didn't see any issue with those guys. And then let's see if we can pump lead balloons. So the thing that I want to do is I want to place like a Mermonkey over here, and so a base Mermonkey does not pump lead balloons. Okay, that's really good to know. But oh, neither does any. Oh my god, these guys do not pop lead balloons. Okay, so this is the perfect excuse to buy the Abyssal Warrior. Okay, so let's buy this thing first, and we're gonna read it in a second. Does the Abyssal, wait a minute, what does this thing do? What is happening? Okay, so we can afford to tank all these guys because we have a bunch of lives that we need to find a solution right now. Okay, so let's read this guy up. Coat tridents in a thick ink. Okay, so that was the thing. Okay, it's an ink which slows down the balloons. Okay, it's really interesting. So a little bit of a glue aspect on it. The abyssal creature grows in power, destroying most balloons with ease and enhancing nearby monkeys with more pierce. Oh my god, this thing is like the pierce king. While we're at it, let's buy this one. It's called the EchoSense Network, so increases the range for all EchoSense Mermonkeys. So all EchoSense Mermonkeys. But the thing is that the previous upgrade is also called EchoSense Precision. So how does this thing work? Let me just buy the EchoSense, and it has a stack. So this is like a druid stack. Okay, so if I buy it like this, if I buy the EchoSense, it doesn't get the range increase. Or maybe just, oh, you have to have the EchoSense Network. Okay, so there we go. But we have 2 stacks on this thing. Okay, so this is really interesting because these guys can just start giving each other even more range. So if I buy all 5 of these guys, because 5 is the max you need to have, by the way, you need to have the network upgrade. So that's 4, and all these upgrades stack, so it buffs itself when you buy it. So there we go, everyone should be at 5 stacks. Okay, so we got some extra range. I guess this is nice, but what is it nice for? Is it nice for the top crossbow? Maybe the tentacles get their increased range? Yeah, absolutely. So far the top crossbow looks really interesting. This might be the DPS one, but there are a lot of other aspects, especially the Bloon triple one. So let's just slowly start getting to it. Let me just buy the last central market and let's see how it does versus a Moab. So this is like the Abyssal Warrior. This is just the 402 with the increased range. So we got 5 of these guys essentially, and so we're coating the Moab with ink, which is really interesting. It means that the Moab is getting slowed down. We did pop it, and then let's see how we do versus the small balloons. Yeah, we definitely clean out the Moab. Okay, it's really good actually. All right, so finally we have the money for the first tier 5, which is gonna be the Lord of the Abyss. The Lord of the Abyss. Do we buy this thing or do we wait for the later rounds? I think we wait for the later rounds because I don't think that we can see how good it is, because it's probably gonna destroy these small balloons, and you're probably not buying the Lord of the Abyss in like the 40s. So let's just go with the other tier 4s, and then we're gonna leave the tier 5s for the later rounds for free play. Okay, so now it's time for the middle crosspad. The first one is called Sharper Prongs. Tridents can pop more balloons. Okay, so this is just like an extra pierce. And now thinking about this top, crosspad, the extra attack speed, this might be the way to go. Maybe we go something like what, 230. Let's just see what this thing does. This is called the Tidal Chill. So remember, these guys, these tridents, they still do not have any seeking. You need the ball and crosspad for the seeking. So that might be kind of a thing. So this might be the DPS crosspad actually, the more that I look at this thing. But the Tidal Chill means that the icy tridents are larger and they can freeze balloons. Let me just buy this thing for a second, then let's see how it does. Let me just set this guy to last, and it is a small ice. I mean, how long does the freeze island? This thing is too strong. I don't want to sell it, but it's just a little bit too strong. So maybe we want to reposition this guy. Let's just have it like, oh, actually, you know what? Let's just buy this guy as a Tidal Chill. So let's go like this. That's an interesting. I mean, the freeze doesn't last too long. It doesn't look like it, but it's a small amount. It's like a tiny a bit of freeze. I mean, it's kind of a cheap tower as well. So I couldn't expect too much off this thing. Let's buy one here at the side as well, and let's buy the Riptide Champion. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. What is happening? What? Wait a minute. Let me just read this up. Okay, so the Mermonkey draws energy from the sea. Tridents grow in size and power as they travel and crash with devastating force. Oh, okay, so this guy's creating, let me just give camo detection by the way. So this guy's creating these riptides that seem to be traveling across the map. Let's just buy it over here as well. Yeah, look at this thing. Okay, so these riptides, and then when they find the surface, they explode at the surface. So maybe targeting this guy should be an important thing, right? Wait a minute, this is so cool actually. So if I buy the Echo Set, that means a little bit of extra range. It doesn't do too. Oh, wait a minute, look at this thing. It's X5. So this is really nice. So the extra range that they get from the EchoSense network, that's global. So let's take a look at these waves. These waves seem to be seeking. Is there like an explosion? I feel like there might be, but this, you know what? It looks really cool, but it looks a little bit unreliable, I'm gonna be honest, because I don't know what's gonna be happening. Like, how does this thing work? What's happening? Where does it go? Like, how do I plan around this thing? Okay, so let's buy the tier 4, and this is gonna be the ability, and this is the Arctic Knight. Oh, wait a minute. We just got an ability. Okay, so tridents can pop lead balloons. Okay, so this is the lead balloon upgrade. That's really good to know. And growing power faster. Okay, so they become bigger a little bit faster, I guess. And then we get the Ice Jet ability, which is launches a barrage of bouncing ice balls following target priority or targeted point. Okay, so let's use this thing. Let me just hit 1 and let's see what happens. Is it following my... Oh my god, it's going insane. Oh my god, it just starts attacking these guys super fast. Okay, so that's really interesting. And then when this Moab arrives, let's see what this ability does. So I'm gonna use the ability right now, and oh my god, it's like a super fast attack. This reminds me of the Wizard Paragon's Metamorphosis ability, although it doesn't seem to last that much. Okay, so this thing already ended. Okay, so you have to plan this ability when a lot of balloons are incoming, but let me just kind of read up what it does. So it's just ice balls. So I guess this is just like a DPS thingy, right? So for example, if I activate it, it's, oh wait a minute, something, you guys see this up top? This thing is glowing. There's 100% a secret to this map, and I'm gonna try and figure it out, by the way, but let's just chill for a second. Let's just see the tier 5s. This is getting interesting. Entrance's non-mob class balloons, okay, so it's only small balloons, magically detonating all damage over time effects and disrupting balloon movement. So I'm gonna buy this thing. I have some ideas. Hey, look at this thing go. Oh my god, look, it's spinning them in a circle, guys. So this is essentially extending the track, but it doesn't last all the time. So it kind of appears and then it disappears, which means because I guess it would be a little bit too OP if it's active all the time, I guess. Alright, so let's buy the next one. This is called Symphonic Resonance. Hypnotic Tune can affect low tier Moab class balloons, and I just happen to have some Moab class balloons coming around. So let's see what we can. Oh my god, it gets them as well, right? So it's gonna take a circle around it, and then it strips camo off of balloons. It can be set to echo from a nearby point. Okay, so that's gonna be the button right here. You have to set this thing essentially around the Mermonkey. So if I have it set like this, is this where? Yeah, exactly. This is where the melody. Essentially, this is where the circle is gonna be, where these guys are gonna go around them. And let's just kind of see how it does versus round 63. So I'm gonna have this thing like here. So let's make all of these balloons kind of go around. We really don't have that much damage going. It's only the elite defender. We might need. Yes, we need to use the ability. So this ability lasts for a super short amount of time, which is really unfortunate. And the bottom crosspad doesn't seem to be doing any damage. The bottom crosspad is just the support one. So we're gonna need to buy something else. And I'm just gonna buy another sniper because we need to deal with these small balloons. So yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of these snipers when we buy the tier 5s. Alright guys, so now this is the time for us to buy all tier 5s. We're gonna figure out the secret on this map, by the way, with these hearts lighting up at the top. I think this is because you want to buy all tier 5s, so I accidentally bought the melee crosspad. I want to combine the Mermonkeys with some other towers as well. So let's sell these snipers and let's get this thing going. Okay, so the first one that I want to buy is probably gonna be the bottom crosspad because this is like the Bloons triple one, so it's called the Final Harmonic. This Elder can echo its irresistible tune anywhere while devastating to balloons. The call inspires nearby heroes with improved range and cooldown. So this is a hero buff, and magic monkeys get extra pierce, and the top crosspad also adds extra pierce. So I would assume, does this thing work on? Oh my god, it does. I was just gonna ask, does this thing work on CRGs? It actually does. So it doesn't pull them, you know, that often, but maybe this gets improved with a little bit of extra attack speed. So let me buy the ultra boost, and let's see if I ultra boost this thing. Is this thing gonna appear a lot? Oh my god, this is like a perma stun, right? But because it says that it can echo its irresistible tune anywhere, this is a global effect. So this pull effect, by the way, I don't think that this thing does anything to it. So I'm gonna keep the ultra boost, but this doesn't do anything for the effect. This is really wild, but here's what I wanted to do. So you guys remember the previous crosspad, this one, no, actually it's this one, is the Alluring Melody, magically detonating all damage over time effects and disrupting balloon movement. So I was thinking, you guys know what's a tower that does a lot of DPS? I mean, you can find DPS all across BTD6, but the tower that does a lot of DPS is this guy. So if I do this, like what's it gonna happen? Is it detonating all this? I don't think it works. I think, so you guys see the DPS up top, it's just not getting detonated. So maybe, what does it mean when you say it's detonating all these effects? So maybe, you know what, let's actually go with the Bloons Incineration. Let's see how it does. Okay, so this thing, it has the harmonic and the effect, but the thing is, this is a low ground, so if it cannot see the balloons, it cannot pull them, and that's really important to know. And by the way, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but this thing lit up as well as soon as we bought the tier 5. So we have one more tier 5, all these things are gonna light up, and then I don't know what's the secret in this map, but I'm really curious about how this DPS effect works onto these guys. So it says that it automatically activates it, so I would assume, yeah, so the DPS that's supposed to be happening over time is just bam in a second. So you really have to find a combo for this thing, and I feel like this Bloons Incineration more is actually, I mean, look at the damage that it does. You guys see it up top? Yeah, this might be one of the good combo towers for the bottom crosspad, the Final Harmonic. I think this is like a good tower for it, because these guys, look at them, they just disappear. It looks like, oh my god, this is really good. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which is gonna be the melee crosspad. So this is the Poseidon. That's a really cool one. This is the most expensive one so far. It's 56,000, and it's the most expensive one out of everyone. So the Ice Jet ability draws such power that a rogue wave floods the map with super cooled water, freezing all balloons and reclaiming the weak for the sea. Okay, so the way I'm interpreting this is, and especially that part, reclaiming the weak for the sea, I think that as soon as you use the ability, this thing should wipe balloons below a certain threshold, right? And this thing is doing it looks like it's doing a decent amount of damage, actually. I mean, we paid $50,000 for this thing, so he freezes these balloons as soon as he touches them. So this reminds me a little bit of an Icicle Impale, but a little bit less consistent of an Icicle Impale, so maybe we give him a little bit of an ultra boost. The freeze effect I don't think works on mobs. It doesn't. It's only small balloons. And let's use the Poseidon ability, so it's gonna be, okay, that's a huge that was it. Okay, that's a huge wave, but all these small projectiles, they just appear on the map, they bounce just just like Juggernaut Dart balls. Basically, I don't think there's anything new happening here, and they just seem to be doing damage. Let's see how much damage the Poseidon ability does. It's called the Ice Jet ability, by the way. So we have 2 ZOMGs. Let me use the ability. Oh my god, this thing doesn't do anything, but oh, look at this thing. It gets global range for a second. So these balloons, they're on a high ground, but this guy started attacking them for a second. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a hidden interaction right there, but it still lasts for a super short amount of time. These ice balls, they seem to be remaining on the screen for a decent amount of time. So let me overclock it. Oh yeah, these Riptides, these waves, man, they do a lot of damage, it seems like. But again, this is a very expensive tower. This thing costs 55,000 for the tier 5 only. And now finally, let's move on to the last tier 5, and we're gonna activate the last heart. So let's see what happens. This is gonna be the top crossfire with the Abyss things, and this is called the Lord of the Abyss. So the fully unleashed wrath of the abyssal creature brings the power of the dead to the surface, annihilating most balloons and greatly enhancing the appearance of nearby monkeys. Okay, so let's buy this thing. This thing costs 31,000. So again, this is kind of on the cheaper side when it comes to a tier 5 tower. Hey, look at this thing go. Okay, so we got all 3 of these. Oh, wait a minute, I clicked it. What just happened? Where did I click? What is happening with this thing? Is this like a high ground? Is this gonna be a new path? So you can have mermonkeys over here, but what do they do? Okay, so let me just have one of these guys like this. What is happening? Like, we opened up a little bit more water space, but what's the catch with this thing? Oh my god. Okay, let's just not lose track. Let's see what the last tier 5 does, and then maybe we can figure out what this thing does that we just unlocked. So I'm actually gonna sell Poseidon for a second, just because I want to see how much. I'm gonna sell all of them, and I'm gonna rebuy them in a second, just because I want to see what this guy does by himself. So how do you combine this thing? So sharper prongs is more pierce. So let's try with this one, and then the icy tridents, they can freeze balloons, but I don't think this works onto these guys. And then if you guys remember, this ink is a slowing ink, so this is kind of a glue aspect on it. And how much damage does this thing do? I mean, it launches these tridents, but like, you see ceramics leak. Let's overclock it for a second. Like, what does this crosspad do is my question, because this doesn't seem like it's a huge, you know, DPS crosspad. Am I wrong about that thing? Let's actually go for the bottom crosspad, and let's give this thing some counter protection, because we're gonna have the DDTs incoming. So let's see if this thing works on DDT. So it can, oh my god, it cannot pop lead balloons. It's a tier 5. Come on, Ninja Kiwi. It cannot pop lead balloons. Can I just give it like an I don't think this is gonna work. Oh my god, why doesn't this 5th tier pop lead balloons? Come on. Guys, I paid 40k for this thing. Alright, so let me create an ice platform so I can have a village over here, so I can give this thing the MIB. Let's just give it a little bit of attack speed as well, and let's see what this thing. Okay, so the ice seems to be freezing a bunch of these balloons, but yeah, this 5th tier, I'm kind of confused about this thing, because I'm not exactly understanding what this thing does. So I know that it gives a little bit of a pierce buff, but am I playing around the pierce? And then I also know that it does a little bit of a slowdown effect. And let's actually combine Poseidon with the top crosspad. So let's say that this thing is gonna be the attack one, because when he attacks with these 3 waves, these guys do seem to be doing a decent amount of damage, and especially you guys see this up top. So when the wave hits the surface, it explodes and then it goes off on both sides. So I think that the way that you want to combine this thing is you want to have it attacking towards the surface, right? So I guess the explosions do a little bit of damage as well. But yeah, like, this thing stalls balloons forever, and let's see if this thing works on DDTs. By the way, the final harmonic, it does. Oh my god, that's so cool. You know what? I think that the bottom crosspad is my favorite out of all these, but just because of the implications, right? Even if you go for something like this, the alluring melody, I think this one combined with something like the beast handlers bottom, like the birds which stall Moabs, you can just keep balloons in place for so long. It's gonna be insane. And these guys don't even seem that expensive. I mean, this is like $3,000 for the tier 3, and then 5k which can also hold Moab class balloons for the 4th tier. I mean, that's actually kind of cheap when you think about it. It's gonna be around 95 with all those DDTs. So let's see how we do. So we know for a fact that this thing is pulling them. Okay, this is my favorite one so far, this pull one, but we know that for a fact this thing is pulling them. But how are these guys doing? So this thing does not, the Lord of the Abyss doesn't seem to be doing too much damage. It's slowing them for sure. And then this guy, yeah, this is where the DPS is at. Look at this thing, guy. Look at his damage counter. Okay, so now serious question, what are these towers actually good at? Like, how do you combine them with other towers? I can see how I can combine this guy, the bottom crosspad, for sure, with a bunch of towers. What's the crosspad for him, by the way? So this is just like a harmonic type of thingy. So maybe you want to buy some of these crosspads just to survive the early game, right? So maybe like what, like this thing, or maybe you just, oh, you might want to go for this thing because it freezes the balloons for a second. So maybe you go full stall aspect. But it's round 98, so let's see how these guys are gonna do. I really love the fact that this thing is just pulling these ZOMGs, and oh my god, that's insane. This is like a balloon chipper, guys. We're watching a balloon chipper in action. Like, that's about it. This is the thing that I'm most excited for. So how do we do versus a bad balloon? And can the Poseidon pop it by itself? I feel like it can, so I don't want to use the ability. Let's just see how much damage it does. This obviously cannot be held by this thing, the final harmonic. That would be a little bit too OP for sure. The Lord of the Abyss is slow does not work, and this thing does not seem to be doing any significant, at least, single target damage. Keep in mind, this thing is perma brute, and these are the damage numbers, and then Poseidon is the one that's doing the most amount of damage. So do we want to use the ability? I think we should. Let's just use the ability. Let's see what it does, because we need the balls to get spawned. So it attacks super fast for a short amount of time. These balls get spawned, they start bouncing off of the walls, and yeah, everything. Oh my god, as soon as it pops, all of these guys just go back into the melody. These guys just start singing, and they just go back, and they go around, and I don't know what to do with this path that we unlock. Like, where does this thing go? Do you want to buy something? I really don't get it here at the top. It's shiny, it's nice, it's cool, but it has to do something, right? Let me just buy a Buccaneer. Like, what, are you supposed to buy something here? But yeah, since we didn't get any patch notes from Ninja Kiwi, as in how much damage each of these guys does, or what is the pierce increase, that's something that we're gonna eventually have to figure out on our own. So I am not exactly sure what's the pierce buff that this thing gives, but the damage seems a little bit underwhelming, I'm gonna be honest. The support aspect that it slows Bloons is really interesting, but again, the favorite one is by far this thing, the final harmonic. This is my favorite one out of all of them, and if you want some DPS, you're probably gonna go for the Poseidon. But for, you know, for these combos and things that you can do with other towers, and maybe just like a full test on it, stay tuned on the channel, because I'm gonna be testing out every single tier 5 when the update drops. So I guess that's gonna be it for this one. We're kind of into free play mode. Let's just use the Poseidon ability one last time. That's the new map. It has a little bit of a secret ongoing, and honestly, you know what, I didn't figure this thing out, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't figure it out, because I guess you guys have something to do when the update drops. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Thanks for Ninja Kiwi for giving us early access, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.